Hi, Pamela. Thank you so much for being my interviewee today. Would you like to
Thank you.
introduce yourself so my audience could get to know you?
Sure. My name is Pamela Mongrandi, and I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a therapist, a licensed professional therapist, and I love the Violet Flame.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah.
Probably many that are watching that interview right now as well.
Yeah.
Great. So do you live in Pennsylvania right now? Or
Yes.
yeah, nice.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how
Outside
have
Philadelphia.
oh, Philadelphia is a very nice city. Very full of rich of history, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
American history. How have you learned about the Violet Flame? Tell us.
Oh. Oh, that's a good question. Okay. I had series of very interesting events that happened to me, and it's actually I practice the science of the spoken word, which includes the violet flame and some other we call them decrees. Um, anyway, I came upon it in my 20s, about 30 years ago, and I was going through life was going downhill a bit, I could say it like that, and I felt this urge inside of myself to uh, I don't remember the order of how this happened, but to speak aloud. And I was following a prompt, an inner prompt, and I wasn't close to God at that time at all. I was going the wrong way, actually. But the inner prompt was to state that, hey, I lost my bracelet because it meant a lot to me. Kind of dumb, but it did. So I said, so I voiced it. I lost my bracelet, and I felt an impulse I just pulled up to home to get out of the car, walk over to the neighbor's house. And it was kind of like woodsy with farmland. And I followed and I've never had that in my life. I followed the prompt. And when I got to his yard, inside his yard, he's actually my landlord too, it was. This is 30 years ago, a little bit over. I felt prompt to stop. So I did. And I got out of my car and all of a sudden I could sense that a miracle was going to happen. I just knew, I just had the sense about me. Again, I was not in any teachings. I wasn't following God. I was uh, not perfect at all. Very not perfect. Anyway, but I could sense that something's going to happen. And I knew that people later in life probably would not believe me, some people. And so I thought I had an idea, it popped in my head. I'm going to put my head up. Like I'm going to look at the sky. In other words, God, you lead me. No one's going to say, "Oh, well, you saw it," because I was looking for my bracelet. So I said, "No, no, no." So I looked like that, and I felt prompt. Walk that way, and I knew his property really well. We were good friends, his whole family. So I'm walking forward, and I know there's a pond up ahead of me. So I'm careful, but I'm walking slowly because I don't want to fall into the pond. And I'm following it along. And all of a sudden, I feel it and I was really worried because I could feel the tall grass, which is on the end of the pond that was surrounding the pond. I'm like, oh, please, I don't want to go like that. Maybe I'm following wrong. I was very worried. And then it stopped around the pond. And so I'm just standing like that for about a minute. Now, again, I'm giving you a quick version. This all took in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It led me to this point of a consistent feeling of prompting. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And I'm still like this. I'm waiting for it. And this is kind of embarrassing this point in my life but anyway, after about 5 minutes, I suddenly got the feeling, again, I was not in alignment with God, you would say. I got the feeling that you not this that there's no God, but who do you think you are that you think that God would find you worthy? So you don't know my life at that time, so I'm not going to go into. I was not following God. So anyway, the point is, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but just I wasn't following God. So or I wasn't. He wasn't in my life. That's it. So I'm thinking, why would you think that you of all people are worthy? You know how you're living. You're not going to church. You're not doing how I was raised. You're not doing that. And why would you think that God would pick you of all people? There are better people for how they live than me. So, and so I'm sitting, and then I started crying. I thought, oh, maybe there's no God. I started crying, and I was alone. Like he lives, like I said, in the woods. I'm alone. He wasn't home, and his car wasn't there. So I'm okay doing this. And then all of a sudden, God, clearly, God let me he wanted to make it's kind of like maybe more of a drama because he let me cry And then after a couple minutes of crying, I said, "Oh, let's go home." Like I to myself, "Let's go home." And all of a sudden, I felt the prompt. Wow, there's God. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause there's definitely a prompt. It's I can't describe it. It's just there. And the prompt, and it was look down, prompting. It's not a voice, it was a prompt. I don't know how do you describe it.
Like
I
a
don't even remember, but I
feeling,
know
an
a
instinct.
feeling,
Uh-huh.
feeling. And I followed, I obeyed. So the feeling was look down. And so I did so very slowly. I mean, next to the tall grass, weedy tall, next to the rest of the grass is all cut, next to the edge of his pond. He couldn't cut right up to the thing, and that's why it's tall. And my feet are shaped, I noticed that first, they're shaped in a V, meaning like spread out a little bit, like a V. And there I looked, was in between my feet was my bracelet. I'm
Wow.
like, oh my, that was my introduction. We call it the science of the spoken word. And then I found a book. I went to my house. I don't remember if it was the same day. This is 30 years ago. Went to my house, picked up a book, and the book was uh gosh, I Am Presence books. They're by Edna and Ballard and Godfrey Ballard. Anyway, I picked up the something was telling me, again, I'm following the prompting, pick up the book. I did, the I Am Discourses. It's one of those books, and it said I opened it to the back of the book. It just opened naturally. It was either the back or the front. I think it was the back. And there's a poem on Mount Shasta, and I'm almost done on this. And the poem, I felt an urge to read it out loud. I'm not in this at all. Like, okay, I felt the urge, I'll do it. Mount and it rhymed. This is not it, but it's something that was so meaningless to me on my outer. It's like what I'm saying. Mount Shasta, so pretty and blue. Your ocean next to you is lovely and true. It's like that, and it meant nothing to me. It was just like that. Like, how moving is that? So I get to the end of the poem, and I am fine. I'm me, like I am now. I'm perfectly fine. I started, I don't do this. You don't know me. I don't do this. I've done it maybe twice in my life when I lost someone that I really loved, sobbing. Well, I mean sobbing, but I've never done it to this degree, ever. Sobbing or my body was moving. I'm like, and me, I'm like I am now, like, what the heck is happening? And it's like it wasn't my outer self. We have a soul. I've learned we have a soul. My soul had found God. This book contained teachings from God. And I was oh so clear that this was a source from God. My outer self was dumb. I don't want to say dumb, but totally ignorant. It had lived a life that I had chosen a life that was bad and just not in alignment. And there's certainly worse. But the point is now I longed for this now, and now I'm excited. Like, what have I found? And that was the beginning of finding in the book. I think it was the book that I had. There's a series of three, the beginning, and I don't have them memorized. It's 30 years ago, April of 30 years ago, and it led me to the teachings that I follow, which have introduced me, which is the Summit Lighthouse, and it's we. I've seen the Violet Flame not first when I first was introduced. So I read about it through one of those books. They talk. I think they mentioned Violet Flame. I'm pretty sure, but somehow I know it's connected to our church, which is Church Universal and Triumph at the Summit Lighthouse. That's the press arm, and I had a series of. I mean, I don't get this anymore. I don't need it, but I had a series of miracles that happened like that. There were two of them. There were a couple more. Like when oh, this is important. Before I found one last thing on the science of spoken word. So this is how I met uh, the leader people from our church. That's how I switched over. Is I had I'm going to call it a premonitory dream 2 weeks before an event, which was to meet the people in my teachings that taught me the Violet Flame. So what happened is I had a dream and I had a vision of everything that was yet to occur 2 weeks later that I had no idea what would happen. In the dream, just really briefly, I was driving along with a boyfriend at the time, and we stopped. There was a pole with the flyer um, for the event. When I got to the event, uh, we walked in. I think it was like a hotel again, or something kind of foggy, but it was a hotel of some sort. I walk in and I'm looking all around this laterally, like this way. And I'm like, where are they? Where do I go? I'm saying there's no sign of where to go. And I hear a voice up above me. Are you looking for the Summit Lighthouse? And I look up. Yes. Oh, you're here for the event. Yes. Come this way. Okay, thank you. And so I walked and I followed.
And
Okay,
where
that
did
was
this
about
voice
it.
come from? Like, was it a loudspeaker? Was
Oh,
there,
I'm sorry.
did you see
A
something?
balcony. A
Oh, I
balcony.
see. I see.
It was a
Nice.
real person. A real person was on the balcony looking down at the newcomers
Ah.
walking in the door, and I was me and my boyfriend, but he was parking. Um, so 2 weeks later, I forgot. I totally forgot. It's just a dumb dream. It means nothing. I don't know these people. So 2 weeks later, there's the poster, and I'm still not getting anything. But I think I did. I think, but I see the poster, I see the sign, and the event, and we go to the event, and I'm still. I'm not totally getting it until I walk in the door, and then it hits me, and that wait, deja vu hits me like, wait a minute, flyer walk in and I wait to hear it. And there it
The
is.
voice.
Are you looking for the Summit Lighthouse
Wow.
workshop or and I look up the balcony. Yes, over here. Thank you.
That is
That was it.
amazing.
That was it.
Wow.
So they
But
taught me about the
where
balcony.
did you see the flyer?
It was a telephone pole at that time I was a student. This is 30 years ago. I was a student. Well, anyway, you don't care where, but I was outside Pittsburgh. It was
Oh,
60, it was somewhere around, I forget where I lived, 60 miles north of Pittsburgh.
wow.
Yeah.
And you just saw it there and then you just followed it, basically.
Yeah.
Wherever it sent
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is impressive.
Yeah.
And then you were basically in the teachings of the Summit
Oh
Lighthouse
yeah.
and you
I would
started. And that's also the moment when you started using the violet flame, invoking it? Or did you do that already when you read the book or the books?
I had yeah, I have to say that I don't remember. No,
Mm.
I do remember. I remember using it when I wasn't in the teachings. That's right. It's so long ago, but some other like I had a series of things that would happen that were like God was calling like to the right. And when I found our church, if anyone ever wants to go there, I hope you do. Again, I'm from Pennsylvania, so when I got on whatever the highway is, the major highway, I'm not thinking right now. I'm just thinking, but I got on the highway to go to our churches in Montana. When I got on the highway, the exit, oh, and there was a series of three rainbows the day that I left in
Wow.
April of 94 and 1990. So it'll be 31 years this April. Anyway, so three triple rainbow, which I don't think I'd ever seen in my life. That was my going away, like bye. So I got in my car alone and I drove the exit on the highway at it's a 3-day trip. The exit is 333. Oh, I'm sorry. In our church, 333 is a holy number. So that's like a holy sign. So I had signs, literally a sign, originally, and many other signs that I'm clear. Science of the spoken word is it. But like I said, what I didn't say here, um, I don't know how long, a year or so or months, I don't remember, into being in these teachings. I was driving I was a school student. I was driving to school and it was a bright day, like I don't know how it is for you, but it's bright outside. And I look outside, not the beautiful blue sky and the clouds, but uh, I was doing by the flame. I was doing a decree. Like around me on the right was how do I say this? It was a more and more violet cloud-like substance was appearing as I was doing my decrees, my violet flame. It was not the actual, I'm not saying, oh, look, the cloud and sky looks violet. No, the sky was a normal day, blue, like I'm looking out my window now. It's a blue sky with white clouds, normal. But I'm saying it was somewhere in between the sky, the real sky, and this was real, and my car was this haze, violet haze that came from nowhere and started appearing more and more. And I was really clear that that was what I was doing, that I was invoking power to transmute karma in the area, not just for myself.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
very
mhm,
vivid
yeah,
experience. Seeing the
yeah,
violet
yeah. It was.
flame freeing. That is awesome. It must have had a big impression on you. At least it would
Oh,
on me. Just seeing it,
oh,
you
oh,
know. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
we all know it exists, right?
Yes,
But so many
yes,
people are just like, oh, I can't see it. I don't believe in it.
yes.
Which doesn't make much sense because there's so many things you can't see and they still exist. But that is an awesome experience.
The other thing I have to say for people is that it's a law. I really believe this. It's a law of life, as I'm sure we all know. I don't mean that I got the violin. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying, I haven't said what I meant. What you do is what you put in is what you get. I knew when I came in, I could tell that I had a lot. I knew by my lifestyle, so I had a lot of karma to work on. I knew that,
We
and
all
so
do,
okay.
unfortunately.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like a lot. So it's at one point, I don't want to scare. At one point, I really was doing about 17 hours of decrees and songs. I worked at our church, and I was across the street. We had a restaurant from our church, and I would all night long. I was a baker, and I would just have the Vital Flame and other. We call them decrees. Other decrees were playing too. They're prayers. They're like prayers. We call them decrees, and they were all going. But I was around like 17 hours, and it definitely cleaned things up.
It certainly did, yeah. You mean like 17 hours you
I
decreed
mean,
and
I
you
don't.
sang songs and
Well, I mean, well, I was a baker. I was making bread for the public that was going to come in and buy it.
I see.
And with our church restaurant, TRK, I don't even know if it's there anymore because I'm not in Montana and I'm not in Montana. Anyway, so when I was doing that, I have my old fashioned, actually, I have one right here. I can show you. It's an old player tape cassette player, 30 years ago. And so I'd have my Vital Flame and we do other degrees too to Archangel Michael for protection. And that's very recommended. I know you know this, but for the public, the more violet flame you invoke, you're invoking more light. The amount that you put into it. I give it when I have energy. I give it with umph, and then you get more power back. It transmits more karma. You go further. But at the same time, the more you're balancing karma and you're invoking this light, it is recommended. I give protection decrees. They're called in the Bible, decree a thing, and it's a form of prayer and spoken word. And I give Archangel Michael decrees 20 minutes a day at least for to protect myself from holding more light. And no one, I don't believe anyone can do this. There's no, it's like, oh my God, they're special. No, no, anyone can do this. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I do have a video
sure.
about why you need protection when you invoke the
Oh,
Vial
okay,
Flame, and I speak about
okay.
Archangel Michael. But it's very, very important to mention always. And I do myself as well, at least 20 minutes per day, Archangel Michael protection decrease, just also to keep the balance. That's what Saint Germain at one point also said. I think he spoke specifically about Estrellas.
Yeah.
The more vile flame you invoke, the more you need Estrellas or blue flame decrease. It's the vile flame is our vile flame decrease just to keep the balance also. And I do have another video
Mhm.
about that as well. So
Great.
very important. Thank you for mentioning that.
Sure.
And so basically, you were led definitely by spirit, by God, by the universe, whatever
Oh, yeah.
you want to call it,
God.
led onto this spiritual path. Yeah,
Yes,
wonderful.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't want to, we have a limit here, but see, I guess because I want to help people. That's what I do. I'm a therapist, but I want to help people and I want them to find God. And it's a very personal experience and our belief system is very personal. But again, I would just say for people to not give up. It took me in the beginning, I knew I had a lot of karma. I could feel a heaviness about me. I knew God was kind of saying, hey, you can get rid of this. This is hell, but you do have something to work on, like quite a bit. Anyway, I think I've worked on a lot, but the point is, anyone can do it. And what else I want to say? He, I guess, well, that's the main point, I guess. That's good.
Yes,
Had
yes,
something else, I
anybody can
forgot it.
do it. It's for free.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I always say it's the greatest gift, at least in this century, that we have received
Mhm.
from the
Oh, yeah.
ascended masters, from God, because
Yes,
it's such a blessing, really. Such a blessing. Yeah.
yes. and it transmutes for people who care about. I hear a lot of, people are on one side, a lot of people are the other side. I don't want to talk about politics, but to help get rid of that, and anything that we don't like, whatever side you're on, you can use the vital flame to help transmute national karma as well. And that can bring people together and help us to grow and become more united.
And it
It's a
helps the
flame of
ascended masters.
forgiveness.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, that is a very important point as well. You can either use it for your personal karma, for your personal causes, whatever you want to work on, you can put in the vial
Yeah.
of flame, but then also you can
Yeah.
think about
Mhm.
your country, your politics, the world,
Yes.
whatever issues you want to
Mhm.
focus on. That's a tremendous help also for the Ascended Masters. Because of course they
Yes.
want us to rise spiritually, our planet,
Mhm.
help us with whatever they can as well. And that helps them
Yeah.
to help us. Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
What is your violet flame routine today? Like, do you start your day with violet flame? Do you do it at
Boy.
night? How much do you do? Yeah.
Um, we every New Year's we give a New Year's resolution to God, and I read a letter um, to the karmic board. I read a letter to God, and the letter gets burned, and I give an offering. And I think that God looks at what we do, and based on that, He can go forward to help humans. Here's another thing I want to share. I'm sorry, it just popped in my mind. Um, when we do think, God takes the energy. If you have a lot of violet flame about you and other decrees, like I said, I do them to Michael's as well, and some other ones. He can, if you have extra light, he can take that and save others and the nation. And if you don't believe it, I had an experience of it. Uh, I don't know if that's the best thing to share. Mike. Okay, you'll cut this out or not, but okay. After a 3-hour session approximately of giving the Violet Flame, we're in Philadelphia at our teaching center, and everyone's invited. I was sitting across the street at that times years ago. I was taking a bus home, and how do I say this? I'll just come out and say it. Uh, I've never wanted to hurt anyone. Okay. We've been taught, okay, this is what's happened in my life. A lot of things that are in the teachings that we follow, I would hear it and say, oh, that's interesting. And then God would show it to me. Not everything, but some things, like the violet flame. I saw it. You cannot tell me it doesn't exist. You can't do that. I've seen it. So that's what I'm saying. I haven't seen everything, but for some reason, he showed me some things. Okay, fine. Anyway, but the point is, I was sitting there, and we've been told, if in our teachings, that if you do a lot of degrees, so I've done a lot, there's a funnel, like a funnel of your soul. It becomes, there's a funnel above you. God can take uh, dirt, I'll just say, I don't know how to say it, but the dirt around the karma in the neighborhood and things that are going to happen. You could take that karma and put it down the chute of your aura, right? And
Wow.
transmute it. Okay. I thought, oh, that's an interesting concept. And then I experienced it, because this is not me. So again, you'll cut this out or not. I was sitting there, and I've never swear upside down and backwards. I mean, I've made mistakes. I've never made this mistake in this lifetime, or I think any other lifetime. Okay, I had the feeling all of a sudden sitting there. No, first I looked and I saw a man approaching. I thought, it was broad daylight, but I thought, uh, I'm glad it's daylight, because you're scaring me a little bit, sir. So I'm thinking that I don't put people down. I want everyone on this earth to make it. That's where my heart and soul is. And that's why I do what I do with my church. I give as much decrease as I can, because I know God uses it to help people, and that's all that my life is about at this point. Okay, anyway, and I'm not perfect, but that's what my life is about. Anyway, so I see this man say, "Oh boy, well, okay, I pray for if I know your name, but I don't know your name." So anyway, I get back to I'm sitting here, and he's approaching, and I'm just sitting. I don't want to connect with him because he's scary looking. And all of a sudden, after I look, because he wasn't that close, like he was the half a block, whatever, but I see that he's kind of scary looking. Okay, there's people around, so I'm not that scared. And I'm just sitting there. It's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the day, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, I have this in my head. I have this thought, thought and a strong feeling, urge. The word is an urge to go molest a child. I've
Ooh.
never had that in my life, and I've never had
Oh.
that since. And it's like, and I knew, like, come on, that is not me. And it was a strong, out of the blue urge. And at the time I'm feeling it, he's right next to me, walking by me, and he's like, "Ooh." So I'm making some prayers, I'm trying to clean this mess up, and then he leaves, and then I'm done, and it's gone. I know clearly that that was not me, that was, God bless his soul, and I hope he's clean. But I know God used, I believe that that day God might have saved someone being molested. I have no idea, but that's what happened. But we've had that teaching that there's a funnel and God can use whatever's around you. Also, we believe, I don't know how much time you have, but,
Let me just say
um,
this quickly. Thank you so much for
yeah,
sharing first. And I think it's very important because many people out there are spiritually very sensitive and they do pick up those thoughts and energies from others without knowing it. So, whatever evil and bad might be out there, physically close or far away, I don't know, but they might pick it up and think it's their own. It might be even depression. And people might suffer from
yes,
depression, but actually
yes,
it's not theirs. And
yes,
Astrayas help very, very much
yes,
with these kinds of energies so we can clean ourselves up to get
absolutely,
rid of those energies. And I do have a
yes,
video, as I mentioned, about giving Astraya decree. So thank you so much because
yes,
we are all one, right? And especially if somebody is
yes,
close physically to you,
yes,
it is very, it can easily happen that you get his thoughts as you did. And that
yeah,
is very scary in that moment, right?
yeah,
Because
oh yeah.
those are
Oh yeah.
certainly no thoughts nobody wants at all. But
No,
very important. Thank you so much for sharing that. And there is the
sure.
solution already given by God to get rid of that and to
Oh
protect
yeah.
ourselves as well as
Yes.
with Archangel Michael, very important as well.
Oh, and the other thing we're taught is when you give decree, for example, I knew that that's just not me. And I knew enough in the teachings that I knew that I could sit, I didn't have to feel bad about myself or something because I like, that's the funnel experience. Oh, I just had that. I read that. It's funny that usually when it happened, I don't really get that anymore, but usually I'd read some of the teachings and not too far afterwards, I'd have the experience. So, but that was a long time ago. There was something else I want to share. Oh, very important. Okay. Please, you taught people this. When you give the violet flame, it transmutes your karma. But certain decrees that we do, like the violet flame, I also do something called the ruby ray. Oh, that's a big one. Anyway, but the violet flame is a very big one. And you can sometimes experience more of your anti-self, I guess I would say, your not self. We call it the not self. And oh, I've experienced that. It's ugly, part that you don't want. So at times when I was giving the violet flame and the ruby ray, stuff would come up. Point is, please we're taught, don't get down on yourself because this is things they're coming up so that they could go into the flame. You don't want to hang on meaning, oh God, I'm so bad. Look at that. Oh, shame, shame. You don't want to get into all that. You have to realize, hooray, it's leaving me. So there goes part of my ego. I've got more to do. There goes part of whatever else. Oh, yay. I'm saying it's good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me now a little bit more about your Violet Flame routine, your daily routine that you have with the Violet Flame?
Sure. My daily routine is I try to do as much as possible because I know it's so important for the earth and the political scene, the earth and everything and so almost everyone. So what I do is I love outreach. What does that mean? It means that I host I'm AV, I'm a host for a morning group. And I just formed a beginner group. Is if anyone is interested for Violet Flame, you're welcome to join. And it's at if you want to just reach me, I'm at that's my email for newcomers into the Violet Flame if you want to join. And
Nice. Thank
I'm
you so
going to because
much. That is awesome because many people actually do ask me about, is there like a place where we can decree together? And I've shared a couple, but that is wonderful that you have like a place. Well, it's online, I suppose,
Yes,
but
online.
online place to go where
Yes,
beginners can actually invoke the
mhm,
wild flame together. Wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you so much for your service.
sure. And they won't, I don't want people to be disappointed. You won't see anyone. Because I mean you will. We don't keep the video. It's a video, but I have you're going to see the actual decrees that are on. You're not going to see
The text, you
me or
mean like the
anyone
decree
else.
text you show?
Yeah,
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
text. Yeah. But I myself right now, and I'm going to redesign it to fit the needs of whoever, because right now it's brand new. I don't have anyone for that, for the beginner group. That's like waiting to happen. Okay, so just if you're interested, just email me, and my name is Pam, Pamela or Pam, and tell me your times that you're available, and I'll try to work around that. Okay, but right
Okay, so
now I get up.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So there
Sure.
is no fixed time yet for this group.
There is the one I'm doing right now is not beginner, but I would rearrange it that it would be. Right now, the one I'm doing is I host starts at 6 a.m. and I do the Great Divine Director Decree 10.08. We do 144 of those always, and there's how do I say this? You earn bonus points when you do 144. So we try to do 144. So anyway, so we do that, and then I give more variety for the next couple hours. But in there, I also put in usually it's 6 a.m. to 10 because or 9:55 because I have to usually start work around 10. Every once in a while, we might have to stop a little earlier. AV might have an appointment or something. That's me. So other than that, usually it's 6 a.m. to 10. Some days a little longer.
What time zone is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in right now it's two well you don't this won't be on there. Eastern time zone.
Eastern time. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just to know, some people might only have 20 minutes or half an hour. So they could just join at 6 or also later and just do their decrease with you and then, just leave again, right? That is possible.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have
Oh
to be there from 6 to 10 every day. If you say,
oh
whatever
no.
whatever amount you can give, you
Yeah.
join the meeting and do the
Yes.
decrease. And if you have to leave, you just leave and
Yeah.
everything. Wonderful.
I'm thinking again, ideally, because the degrees that we're doing now are intermediate and advanced, but I'm welcoming the decrease sessions to beginners. And like I said, if people, you don't have to email. If you want to just come and try it, come and try it. You're welcome. I think you'd have to email me because you'd have to get the link. So you're gonna have to email me no matter what, and I'll give you the link. So that's fine.
Nice. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. We actually also host sessions on Saturday, typically 4 to 6 p.m. But again, I have people that come and go. Oh, they have to go eat dinner or lunch or whatever their time zone. There are people that join from all over, like different Europe. Every once in a while, that's rare, but sometimes that happens too. And
Wow.
some days, sometimes we do a service as well.
Okay, so the 6 through 10 a.m. is during the week, Monday through Friday.
Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 6 to 10 is Monday through Saturday, and the Sunday, because AD has an appointment in the morning, ends around 9, and Saturday it's flexible, but we'll say 4 to 6 standard, but sometimes that's changed. The weekend, I put an email out, it changes. That's why people are going to have to. The only thing that's fixed solid is the morning, Monday through Saturday from 6 to
Perfect.
9:50.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's great. So they just sent you an email, you add them to your recipient list, and then you
Yes.
send out an email, I don't know, once a week or something to update the times or every
Um,
day for the meeting.
they could just join. So yeah, they could just join the 6 to 9:50. If once people start joining, I'll probably make it depending on if everyone's in agreement, like 6 to 7 or 6 to 6:30, depending on how much people want to
Yep,
do.
yep.
And then if they want to stay for the more advanced, the faster ones, they can. But the slower ones will probably be first.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Thanks so much for sharing.
sure.
So you do that already like almost every
Yeah,
day. Wow, that's a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And those are mainly wild flame decrees?
The 6 to 9:50, I'd say it's about Well, we're doing 10.08. I'm always doing that, which is an hour and 18 minutes. I'm doing the math right. It's about three and a half hours of the Vital Flame, three to three and a half, and then a half hour of the blue, which is, sorry, Michael's protection.
Before
20
or
minutes,
after
half an hour. Uh,
Michael's?
it would be nice if he was before, but I do it
Okay.
at this point. I'll create a time schedule if you'd like, but right now it's just we it's later in the day that we do the blue.
Okay.
Somewhere around, it's not a fixed time, so somewhere between nine. It depends on who's there at what
Hmm.
time, and I take advantage of that.
So it's very
It's
flexible,
very
your group,
flexible.
and yes, yes,
Yeah.
and you do it basically based on the needs on who's in the meeting.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Correct.
It's great.
If a newer comer, once they have it's the same link that I use all the time. It doesn't change ever.
I see.
And
I
so
see.
once they have the link, if they were going to, a newcomer is going to pop in later when I'm doing advanced, what would happen is I probably end that degree and go on to a slower degree. I would adjust. Or if they pop in when we're doing Michaels, I would end the Michaels for them and go into something that would be relevant for them. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. That's quite a routine.
Yeah.
Lots of hours. Lots of
Yeah.
hours. Violet Flame hours.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Doing a great service for the Synod Masters for sure. I
Right.
know that beforehand you had mentioned to me an experience you had many years ago with Kuan Yin. Could you tell us
Yes.
about that?
Absolutely. Um, Again, in the beginning, okay, I used to do Kuan Yin. I just followed my heart, and my heart led me to Kuan Yin. And there's a rosary that I do. I really like her, and I might add her to the morning. I might, and she would be 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, here's what happened. So I was giving her rosary. She has a 4.5 hour rosary every morning. It includes some blue, the protection decrees, about a half an hour, I think it was, or a little bit less actually. And I would do it every morning from, I think it was 4 a.m. to 8:30 in the morning, every day for 2 years. And I just felt called. I felt drawn to it, and I did it every single day, 4.5 hours for like I said, 2 years. And I was working at the time, so I was in my early 30s, and I shouldn't date myself, but anyway, I was working at a nurse aide position, certified nurse aide, and I worked in a nursing home. That's what it was, and in outside Pittsburgh. And when the this was well into the 2 years, maybe a year and a half into doing this. I don't know exactly, but I was well into the routine. And I know these center masters are happy when you do any kind of work for them. They're happy. So I always keep that in my mind now because I know that. So uh, I want to please them because pleasing them means working off more karma for yourself and others on the planet. So it's a triple win. Anyway, so the point is that, and I learned it firsthand that day. So what happened is whatever decree you're giving it to, there's a master behind it. I mentioned doing Great Divine Director decree. He's an ascended master, and you're helping him. And how it happens, you help have there's I'm going to say no favorites. You help them. You give them energy like fuel in the tank. Your car can go. So then he can turn around and help you. In this case, it was Chi because it was Kuan Yin. Anyway, I know she's has a masculine counterpart. They all Avalokiteshvara, but anyway, that morning I was done my routine, and what happened is my 4.5 hours, so it was about 8:30, and distinctly I felt Kuan Yin's presence. How do I say this? I'm going back, like I said, 28 years or something, or 27, whatever it was. So I'm going back. No, it's a little. I'm sorry. I was already into the teachings. Sorry, I moved to the church. I was so gone home in the beginning. I moved to Montana. Sorry, I shouldn't use the word church, but anyway, I moved to Montana, our headquarters in 1994, and I left to go back to a master's degree in counseling. I'm a counselor, and that was like November because my studies were going to start in January. So I was already living with the people and in school. So this was somewhere about 1998 or 99 is when how far back this is. Okay, so I was in my early 30s, and I was working at the nursing home, and and also I think I was going to school too. Or I forget the time of that. Anyway, if it overlapped or not. But the point was, sorry, I'm a bad storyteller, but it's the truth. This is the real thing, not a story. So when I went that day, I felt her presence, and there was a, I don't know how to describe this, but she gave me, without words, she gave me her words, but they're not words. She gave me the
Like
message.
thoughts.
It's her heart. Her heart went out to me, like the message was, I'm so sorry. It was very it was so like I'm so sorry this has to happen to you. And I'm thinking, what? Well, first of all, I'm not sure. Am I again? This doesn't happen to me every day. It's like hardly ever. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to think, oh, she feels the presence of Kuan Yin all that. No, no, I don't. And but that one day, out of the blue, there's Kuan Yin. I'm feeling her, and I'm getting her message. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this hasn't happened to you. And I got what she meant, but I'm still questioning. Like, is this real? Is it not? And then it disappears. You know what I'm saying? And I'm questioning, and I'm back to normal. Okay, or I gotta go to work. I can't think about that. I don't know if it's real or not, but I gotta get going. So I jump my car. I'm driving to work, and I swear I have perfect memory of this. This was fascinating. And what happened was, I when I got to work again, it's a skilled nursing facility, and they have a ramp, the wheelchair ramp, and I'm walking up the wheelchair ramp. I'm on time, and I always have a swing to my walk. I mean, that's just me, but it wasn't boisterous, meaning it was kind of, I was smoothly walking, and as I walked, my hand smooth lightly. I wasn't like this. I was just lightly walking. I was feeling happy, and they have a hand guardrail, wooden. It was metal or wooden. I don't remember this time, but it was a guardrail on the side, and my hand lightly went like that. Just as I'm walking, went tapped on it, and I heard a snap. I thought that's curious because I felt no pain at all. So I didn't, I think I might have looked or not. I don't remember. I don't know that I would have because I had felt no pain. So anyway, I went about, at some point, I don't remember, this is, what is it, 26 years ago? At some point, I looked and said, oh, here's my finger. Here's my
Wow.
finger. I don't know if you see it. It's ugly. You see how ugly that is? Okay,
Well,
the
I
reason
wouldn't
it's,
call it ugly, but
well, no, I know, but I'm just saying it's not
yes,
like
yes,
this
you
one
can
is
see.
straight,
Yes.
this one is not. This is the one that broke. And so what happened is the reason it's misshapen is because I broke it, and because I didn't feel pain, I didn't go get it checked. I had no reason to. I thought I didn't break anything. I didn't think anything. Like, I don't know that I even looked right away because I felt no pain. But at some point I looked and said, gee, that's kind of ugly. Maybe I should get that looked at. I don't know. But I don't think I went in for this because it was fine. I think I went in for something else. And while I was in for another checkup, I said, oh, by the way, what's this mean? And they said, oh, you broke your finger. I mean, he looked at it. I don't think, and he looked and said, yeah, it was within, it was 1 month after the event. And he said, you broke your finger. I said, oh, well, sorry, wanted to look prettier. I said, is there any way you can make it look a little nicer? Can you fix it? And he said, no, you waited too long. He said, if it was within the month, I could have done something, but you're too late. I mean, it's not too late, but we'd have to break it again to fix it. I
Mhm.
said, no, that's okay. I'll live with this. I'll leave as a Kuan Yin reminder. So, yeah, so that's why, and so now I know clearly her message. It was, again, I don't believe there are favorites, but I was doing the work, and I was doing 4.5 hours every morning. And I know it was like, they're there to anyone. It happened to be me, but it's like, they're there. You're working so hard. I know you put so much effort. I feel so sorry, but your karma's going to have to come down. And I know, obviously, the violet flame works. Okay, people don't know Kuan Yin's rosaries, they it's not actually, I'm being very precise about it. It's not actual violet flame, but it still has transmutation ability. So does Mother Mary's rosaries. It's not actually, but doesn't count as violet flame, but it transmutes karma. So every time you do a rosary, you're helping to transmute your karma and the world's. It's wonderful. So, so the reason I felt no pain is I did enough work, spiritual work, and service, because that counts too, to work off. Like I try to, my life is service. Again, I'm not perfect about it, but that's what I try to do. Anyway, but the point is, because of whatever much I have laid down as an offering in service and by the flame, I didn't get to have pain.
Mhm.
And that was fascinating. That's it. That's my story.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
You helped her and she helped you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just an
Yeah.
exchange. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I do have the Mother Mary's Rosary app, and when you
Mhm.
say the Hail Mary, those words,
Yes.
but actually it is Violet Flame. Violet Flame
Okay.
is
Okay.
released. Yeah. I don't know exactly how it is with Kuan Yin and the Rosary you've mentioned because I don't know it, but it's certainly worth looking into it because Kuan Yin is the goddess of forgiveness, right? Of mercy, of mercy. So
Absolutely.
yeah, she
Yes.
definitely works a lot with the Violet Flame. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Those
You're welcome.
experiences makes it really real to
Oh
people
yeah.
as well. It's awesome. And
Mhm.
I think it's also whatever you put in, you get out. So you have these
Yes.
experiences because you put in a lot of effort.
Yes.
You give a lot of
Yes.
Violet Flame. So you
Yeah.
get back also those kinds of experiences at least once in a
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
Nice.
And that's actually in the teachings that I follow. Somewhere in it, it says, I forget how it's said, but the idea, I'll say it in layman's terms, to get to the point. Anyone can experience phenomena. This is how the teaching was described. Anyone can experience phenomena in God. You just have to do the work.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And those are godly phenomena, not the astral plane phenomena that we don't want to
Yes.
experience, right?
Oh no. Oh
Which is
God,
all
no.
fake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spiritual phenomena.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Doing the work, the prayer work, the rosaries, all of that. Yeah. The decree. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you, so you basically do decrease because there's also mantras
Yes.
and there is songs.
I
Although
do it
the
all.
dispensations don't count for the songs as far as I know, right? They don't only do
No, no,
they
no.
they
Yeah.
count for decrease and the mantra. Well, there's only, I guess,
Yes.
one specific violet flame mantra. The I am a being of violet flame. I'm the purity goddess Ash.
Yes.
I am a being of violet flame. No, violet fire, excuse me. Violet fire. Yeah.
Yes.
And you do songs as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Mhm.
do everything. Oh, but if you're talking about during that 6 hour, excuse me, from 6 to the morning one, if they're going to be, I guess I could throw in a song, but usually we don't do songs there.
Okay.
I do it at the end of the service.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
wonderful. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like a
nice.
reward.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So much
yeah,
work and then you can
yeah.
just listen or sing and relax. Yeah, nice.
And just one last thing on
Yeah.
the work is what you put in is what you get out. Um, I there's a teaching in our teachings about songs, and I mean they definitely. I mean we know music is an amazing phenomena on this planet, but without going too deeply, um, you can balance if you the people of God are when God created us, we're born with a threefold flame. The Hindus call it Atman. It's the spark of God within us. By the way, I have throw it out there. You can put that out in a spark of rage or a couple. So you have to be very careful with anger. I mean, it's just yeah. Anyway, so what was I thinking? Sorry.
The songs. You
So
were speaking about the
the
songs.
songs, yeah. So the teaching on songs is if you put your all into the songs, I'm talking about the holy songs, it can help to balance your threefold flame. And a balanced threefold flame, which is it's a trinity, it's a triune sparks of God wisdom, God love, God wisdom, God power. If you balance them and enough karma, you can raise up to a very high your higher self. You can become one with your higher self, and you can balance those threefold flames. That's how you become one with your. I'm not there yet, but that's how we're told that you can become one with your higher self. You balance enough karma, and you balance the three flames of God love, God wisdom, God power. And singing with gusto helps balance, put the flames more balanced.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Learned something
yeah,
new.
I used
Nice,
to be in chorus in yeah, and I was taught that in my church.
nice, nice. Thank you so much for
Oh.
sharing that. Well, if you could make any recommendation to somebody that's just found out about the vile flame, any tips, anything you would recommend to them, advise them? Is there anything you would tell them?
Oh, there's something very important is that, well, the one thing I know I've said it before, but it's so important. If you're looking at your watch, you're looking over there, you're yawning, or you're laying in bed, please don't, it might as well not do it. And I mean, there might be like a feather action, like a feather. You know what I'm saying? If you're, if you're expecting, please don't be, your temple is an experiment. If you like science, like I don't believe what you're saying, your temple's an experiment. Try it as a scientific experiment. I know from this temple, you can't tell me, like I said, Bioify doesn't exist. You've seen it, and you can't tell me these things because I know it in my temple. Like I've proven it to me. You have if you're on the fence, like I don't know if I believe this stuff. That's okay. That's okay. I didn't always believe everything. I didn't. But you please, if you're going to do an experiment, put your all into it. It took me 1 month till I felt what I'm saying is like I would decree. We're told to put your hands like this. If you don't have to, but if you go like this when you're decreeing, you can more light is these are chakras. They're two of the chakras. More light is being absorbed. Actually, the most light is absorbed at the end of the decree. They recommend you being still as you're doing the infall faith. It's when the most light pours
Oh,
down and then you go on. But just give it your all before you're ready to say no, it doesn't work. And what I'm saying is, it took me a month of giving my all before I felt it and knew that it was working. A month because I had so much karma.
well, and a month I'd say is very quick, actually. It's
Oh,
certainly
but I
well,
gave my all.
right, right. That's probably the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Because it took me, I don't know how long it took me, but certainly not a month. It was definitely more. But I also didn't necessarily I didn't begin with the Summit Lighthouse decrease. I began with other things that are out there in the world, but invoking the
Sure.
vile flame still. So for me, it was more
Mhm.
a process. But when you
Yes.
say give it your all, so you're speaking basically about loud voice, you're sitting straight up, feet on the floor, your hands, as you said, either like holding them up or putting them on your lap
Sure.
and focusing, right?
Yes.
Hmm. And
Yes.
many people out there, it is hard for them to focus. I think it's in general for us humans,
Yes.
it's hard to learn how to focus really like over 90%, let's say, because I think
Yeah.
that's already like a big deal. But if you're
Yeah.
new and you're getting to know the text, etc., so you can't really, and you might not be able to visualize the vile flame. So it's just
hmm
intention. Intention,
Yes.
plays a big role. Intention is very important. So
And
if you can't visualize yet, if you can't focus 100% yet, that is okay. You just get started
yes.
and you
Oh
evolve throughout the
yeah.
process.
Oh,
And
you
your
just
heart
do
is
it.
important. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I'm saying if people can, I mean, because I hear some people they don't know, and I don't want you to know that it does make a difference. That if you put your all into it, you're going to get back more.
Yeah,
So it's like anything else in life.
yeah,
You know, you study harder, you get better results. Yeah.
exactly. And I was just for my viewers to explain to them,
hmm
I was mentioning to Pamela also before we started that
hmm
at the moment, I can't really, in the mornings, I can't decree as focused as before because I have two little children and I have to get going. My nights are not the best. So I do things in parallel when I decree, just because I don't have the time to sit down and decree for as much as I would like to. And that is okay. I personally think whatever you do is still better than doing nothing. So
Oh
if you
yeah.
cannot decree aloud, then
Oh
decree in
yeah.
your head. If you can sit
Yeah.
straight down, then decree in your bed.
Yeah.
If
Anything.
that's the
Yes.
only way you can do it, then do it. It
Yes.
doesn't matter. I think
Yes.
like the masters and God looks at your
hmm
heart and looks at your
Yes.
circumstances, and whatever you give and you give it freely and with an open and honest heart, they will bless
Hmm.
that.
Oh yeah. They say it's in the teachings, something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
But for the people who are saying, then I know there's some people out there that, in the beginning, I didn't necessarily believe that it was, I guess I needed a lot of convincing because God showed me a poster and did all these things to bring me in. It's just giving, I'm talking about like in the beginning to give it a fair shot that this doesn't work. Well, give it a fair shot in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. Um, Something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. So
Well, thank you so much, Pamela, for taking the time to talk to us, to sharing your experiences, and for encouraging us as well. And all those people that are new to the Vile Flame to just, do it, just do it
yes,
and see what
yes,
happens. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and for being with us today.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.